You start up a new Pokemon game, get your starter, head out onto the first route, and encounter a little bird, and you just know that they're going to evolve into a big bird. You've just encountered what fans call a regional bird, a recurring trend in every new Pokemon game. Due to their prominence early on, these bird Pokemon become iconic within their own generation, and sometimes even beyond. But how similar are they? Generation 1's regional bird is Pidgey, and its evolutions Pidgeotto and Pidgeot. Many of the trends you'll see start here, namely the multi-stage evolution line, the dual normal flying type, the standard evolution levels of 18 and 36, the general presence throughout the entire region, and the fact that Ash catches one in the anime. In fact, I would say the three main things that define all regional birds are here, namely the flying type, having an evolution line instead of being a single Pokemon, and the presence early on. Also have noticed the Spearow and Fearow line, another early game normal flying type. Despite matching the type and evolving at a similar level of 20, these two just don't feel like regional birds. It's hard to describe, but it's probably because they appear in slightly less places than the Pidgey line, and Ash doesn't own one in the anime. Gen 2's regional bird, Hoot Hoot and Noctowl, already shift some trends, but keep things mostly the same, matching Spearow instead of Pidgey. There's only one evolution instead of two, and Hoot Hoot evolves at level 20, the same as Spearow. Aside from that, they're a normal flying type, found pretty much everywhere, and owned by Ash. Gen 3's obvious regional bird is Taillow and Swellow, being normal flying types that evolve at level 22 and are owned by Ash. However, they are actually rare compared to their contemporaries. No, the bird that appears everywhere is Wingull, and its evolution Pelipper. Wingull evolves even later at level 25, and is water flying type instead of normal flying. As we'll see later though, being normal type isn't a requirement. Wingull also isn't owned by Ash, but it does appear everywhere in the region, and matches Hoenn's general water type vibe really well. Between Taillow and Wingull, they've got everything covered, so I'd argue that they're both regional birds, making Gen 3 the only gen where this is the case. It fits Gen 3 too, given its focus on Pokemon pairs and double battles. Gen 4 is back to the standard, with Starly, Staravia, and Staraptor being a 3-stage normal flying line that's abundant in the region, owned by Ash, and evolves at similar levels, albeit slightly earlier than Pidgey's line. Gen 5 is in the same boat with Pidove, Tranquil, and Unpheasant, normal flying types that evolve at the quirky levels of 21 and 32, also owned by Ash. Oddly enough, they're actually pretty rare for a regional bird, the rarest yet, which is a trend we'll see going forward. However, they still appear much earlier than Gen 5's other bird Pokemon, so they still qualify. Unpheasant also has very distinct forms based on whether or not it's male or female, which is something. Gen 6 finally does something different with its line, consisting of Fletchling, Fletchinder, and Talonflame. While Fletchling is normal flying type, Fletchinder and Talonflame are, as you might guess, fire flying type instead, making them the first non-normal type regional bird if you don't count Wingull. It's also rare, albeit still found early on, and owned by Ash, evolving at normal levels. Besides, Gen 6's only other bird is Pokemon Satan. Generation 7's Pikipek line, consisting of itself, Trumbeak, and Toucannon, go back to being normal flying type, and are the first regional birds not to be owned by Ash. This is actually a new trend, as none of the future regional birds are caught by him either. They evolve at levels 14 and 28, and also only appear early on. Gen 8's regional bird is Fun, consisting of Rookidee, Corvisquire, and Corviknight, while also early game only and evolving at the standard levels of 18 and 38. What makes this line special is that Rookidee and Corvisquire are the first pure flying types outside of the legendary Tornadus, who was in a weird situation anyways. That makes them pretty special, before Corviknight becomes part Steel type. Still really good, just not special. Finally, Generation 9. While Paldea has a lot of birds, the regional bird is Wattrel and its evolution Kilowattrel, the first 2-stage line since Gen 3. They are electric flying types that can be found all over the region and evolve at level 25. Notably, Wattrel is also owned by one of the main protagonists of the anime, now that Ash is gone, making it a return to form in that regard. And that's all the regional birds. They are all pretty similar, but with some obvious variety, namely on the evolution levels, which all hover around the same points without being exact. The type variety in later generations is nice too, and helps make the bird stand out. My favorite is probably Corviknight due to the cool typing and design, although Staraptor is a close second, again due to the design. But what's your favorite regional bird? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.